So how is the Singapore technology sector doing over the past few weeks, right? So even though the market, we've seen a bit of profit taking, but it seems like the Singapore technology sector, alright, is doing well and it's a bit more bullish. We've covered some of these stocks like Franken and UMS. And in today's video, we're going to cover the four, alright, just these four technology counters in the Singapore market, and they are right over here: AEM, Franken again, UMS, and another new one that just came into our watch list over the past 1 or 2 weeks, which would be Valuetronics. So these four counters: AEM, Franken, UMS, and Valuetronics. And we'll see, if there can be still more upside. So we've covered some of them before, and it seems like there are a bit of bullish actions coming back again, and we have our targets revised higher for some of them. Hey guys, Joey here, top tier advisor in Phillip Securities and chief trainer at Trading Impossible, right? So do stick around all the way to the end of this video because we are going to look at the charts for each of them, right? And I think you're going to like what I got for you because we're going to look at the charts, maybe look at the targets and see how far can they potentially go if some of those key resistance level are breached, right? So let's dive into these four stocks, the four Singapore technology counters, which I think, right, that there could potentially be a bit more upside before some profit taking can set in again. So let's take a look. So let's take a look at AEM right here, okay? And AEM is one of those heavyweight technology company. We have seen it consolidate since like August, September. Not much of a move, and we have seen, Franken and UMS and even Hype pushing higher, but AEM was just pretty much moving sideways. But what happens is over the past few days, it seems like a bit of bullish actions is coming back. It seems like it's going to play catch up, right, to those other mid caps technology counters, right? And this is AEM right over here. You can see currently trading at about $3.83. So look at this, right? Since like somewhere in September 2020, about 3 to 4 months back, we were pretty much moving sideways. From about $3.30 to about like $3.80. All right, up down. Not much of a move. You can see the red line, the 100 days moving average, started to move sideways, and this green line also kind of like went down. All right, kind of like a bearish crossover below the red line, and both of them were like pretty much moving sideways. All right, but what happens is over the past 1 to 2 days, we are seeing some signs of strength coming back, and the thing is, we want to really make sure we get past that $3.80 resistance, right? This resistance is key. As I mentioned, we have been kept below since September, all right, and we want to really get past above it, and right now it's like about $3.82. So it seems like if we can hold above this level today over the next few days, we might potentially head back to around that $4, right? $4 is another key psychological level you want to take note as well. Look at this, right? $4, that was where we were somewhere in like August, all right? That was where we were holding really well, all right? And it was like consolidating from like $4 to $4.40, and we broke that $4. That's it, right? So sort of quite badly, right? But right now, anything above $3.80, that is a good sign of the strength coming back, or some upside momentum coming back after that 4 months consolidation. And hopefully we head back to $4, and we want to see this $4 psychological level break out as well. All right, and that's where you can potentially hit back to that $4.40, right? So this is AEM. I would say, if you can hold above $3.80 is good, all right? I mean, we have been like consolidating all this while, so very boring, but hopefully we see a bit of good actions coming back again over the next few days, and that's where we can start to see the uptrend start to form up again, right? So look at this, right? The blue line, the 200 days moving average, all this while, it's still like slow and steady pointing up, even though the green and red line is like flattening out. But look at this, the blue line has always been up, very consistent up, pointing up. Prices have always been holding above this blue line, which is the 200 days moving average. So that's a good sign in terms of the longer term trend. But now, short term, as I mentioned, we want to see it hold above that $3.80 for it to kind of like push higher to like $4, and then potentially to that $4.40 key resistance, right? So this is AEM right up here. So let's go on to the next counter, which would be Valuetronics, right? So Valuetronics is one of those technology companies that has been really, out of radar for quite a while, all right? In fact, right over here, you can see that since like May last year, more than 7 to 8 months, we were pretty much kept below this 62 cents resistance level, all right, over here. So yeah, but over the past, I would say few months, we managed to see it form what we call higher lows. In fact, we could draw this upward sloping channel support line here, and of course we want to really break that 62 cents level, right? And yes, just this morning, right over here, this is live, we kind of broke that 62 cents, right? It went to like about 63, and that's where some upside targets were drawn to about 70 cents, right? About 11.5% upside. Right, so this is Valuetronics. So now a few hours have passed, and look at Valuetronics again to see where we are and if this target can potentially be met. So guys, this is Valuetronics here live as of Tuesday, 12th of January. It's about 4:19 p.m. The market is about to close. So just this morning, as I mentioned, there were some upside targets that were drawn. We were pretty much about 0.63, right? But it seems like buyers have just came out and pushed prices higher, and now we are like just a little bit more higher at 0.665. So I mentioned like this morning we were somewhere around here. There were some upside targets that were drawn, all right, to about that 70 cents. Let me just reiterate the target again to about 70 cents. So it seems like we're kind of like approaching that 70 cents level, all right. I think given that you have pushed up by quite a fair bit today, all right, we might start to see a bit of profit taking coming back as we approach that 70 cents level, probably to like 60, 68, 68.5, 69. I think that's where some profit taking might come back. We might potentially retrace back down a bit, maybe perhaps find a bit of a support at 65 to 66 cents, and hopefully, all right, we're going to attempt to kind of break that 70 cents level to push higher to the next resistance at about 75 cents. So yes, Valuetronics has kind of like woken up, all right, after being pretty much sideways since like May or June last year, all right, more than like 6-7 months, and now with this move today, which have like caught just this morning, all right, it seems like kind of woken up. But of course, they've gone up by quite a fair bit today, so we might see a bit of profit taking. But overall, it still looks quite good above that new 60 cents to 65 cents support. What about the moving averages? All right, so you can see right over here, you can see in terms of the moving averages, they were like pretty much moving down. Look at this right over here, down, down, down. The red line was down. Okay, now it's like flattening out. Look at this, right, flattening out. And what happens is these moving averages also on this move today, you can see they're starting to turn up. All right, they're starting to turn up. That's a good sign. All right, of course, we need a bit more confirmation with prices holding above that 65 cents or maybe 60 cents support level for the uptrend to really start to form up. All right, and take shape in the beginning. All right, compared to companies like Franken and UMS and Hype, those have already like kind of went on to an uptrend and kind of played out. But for Valuetronics, it seems like it's just beginning to happen, especially if we hold above that 65 cents to 60 cents, right? And of course, with the moving average starting to turn up. So right now, look at this, the green line is pointing up, and what happens is we're going to see this red line, the 100 days moving average, turn up as well, and eventually crossing back above that blue line. So that will be a good sign in terms of the uptrend happening in the mid to long term as well. Right, so this is Valuetronics, right? Yes, our targets have kind of played out a bit. It's kind of like pushing towards our targets, but let me just revise our second target to probably about 75 cents if that 70 cents level to give way as well. Alright, so yes guys, before I move on, if you like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. It will definitely help out the YouTube channel, reach out to more people, right? And thank you so much for doing this. So let's move on to the next counter, which would be right over here, called UMS, right? So UMS, I think I covered it in the previous video. Last week I covered it in like the top 2 counters to take a look at, and UMS was one of them. And since now we are looking at the Singapore technology counter, UMS would be definitely inside this sector as well. Alright, so this is where we are right now. So I think last week when we mentioned it, was somewhere around that 112, 113 level. We kind of broke that $1.10 level I mentioned, and right now you can see that we have been holding, all right, above this $1.10 new support level. In fact, we are like kind of pushing away from this 110 support, which is a good sign, all right. And I mentioned about this target at about $1.20. So yes, look at this right over here. Today is the 12th of January, Tuesday, all right, and it seems like we have kind of hit or touched our target at 120. So the high of the day was 120, and seems like we have kind of touched our target, right? So yeah, probably a bit of profit taking here, which is normal. I mean, given that it has pushed up from like $1, 105 all the way to like 120, all right, yeah, more than 10-15% upside. So people might want to take some profit, right? But look at this, right? The trend, I think I mentioned it in the previous video, we are looking at quite a good uptrend, all right, forming up, all right, and look at this, right? The green line is pointing up, red starting to slope up, yeah, blue is sloping up as well, all right. So we might potentially consolidate, I would say, probably from like 115. I mean, support is at 110, but I mean, probably a higher support right now. If we can hold above that 115 level, that will be a good thing as well, right? But let me just go ahead to draw this. So yeah, probably from like 110 to 115, that's where some good support might come back. If we were to like kind of take some profit and come back down again, we might potentially see a rebound right here. But more importantly, guys, for the uptrend to continue, all right, this 120 would be key, all right. And why is that so? Look at this right over here. Just in 2020, in somewhere in August, that was where we kind of headed to that level, and kind of like saw a bit of a bearish candle, and that's where it really sold off from like 120 all the way back down to like $1 and started to consolidate. So right now you can see we are pretty much back to the recent high that we've seen somewhere in August last year, all right, and yeah, that's the reason why we might see a bit of profit taking, right? So yeah, make sure if you're already locked in some positions, all right, you want to protect your profits as well. But more importantly, I think if we do get past that 120, all right, that's where our upside targets can be revised higher to about 130, and that's where we would see probably the moving averages starting to turn up more. So that's a good sign that the uptrend can continue. All right, so it's healthy to see it kind of consolidate a bit below that 120 for a while before attempting to break it. I think it's a bit more healthy than just pushing higher and higher each day, right? So we want to see it like kind of consolidate a while below 120, maybe for a few days, before attempting to break that 120, and that's where we can see it push higher to probably 130, and then it might consolidate again. Okay, so this is UMS right here, currently at about $1.19, looking good above the higher support at about 110 to 1.15 for now. Okay guys, let's take a look at the final Singapore technology counter, which will be this company called Franken. Right, so we have covered this company just about 2 or 3 weeks back in the video, and of course clients were alerted to some of these companies as well, like UMS, Valuetronics and all that, right? But Franken has came to our watch list pretty early, probably about a month ago, all right, and that was when the previous video was done. All right, so right now you can see Franken, we are pretty much consolidating sideways at about $1.34. So previously I mentioned we were somewhere around here. We kind of broke that $1.10 somewhere in like November, December, and that's where the upside started to really take shape and prices started to push higher, right? And first it kind of broke that 120 as well, and yeah, pretty much now at about $1.34. So let's take a look at the support level for Franken. So right now you can see that I would say immediate support wise probably about like 126 to 130. Look at this right over here, and this is where the 20 days moving average line is as well. Let me just pull it right over here. Yeah, probably just give it a bit of allowance. Probably, yeah, 125 to 130. That would be a good support level for now. For Franken, you can see that's where we kind of rebounded from. Buyers are starting to come back, and that's where the 20 days moving average line as well. All right, look at this right over here. This resistance level that was in August, all right, before we kind of sold off, this resistance would now become the new support, which kind of like coincides with this 125, 126 support level, right? So resistance turn support, that would now be a good support level. So kind of like 3 points. All right, resistance turn support is number 1. Number 2, the 20 days moving average line is right here, right at that support level. Somehow it kind of coincides really nicely. Number 2. Number 3, all right, look at the over the past 2 weeks, you can see buyers are starting to come back. We kind of like push away from this level, 125, 127. I think buyers started to count and bargain hunt and come back. All right, so a bit of bullish price actions for a rebound coming back near that. All right, so that's number 3. All right, so that's a good sign, I would say, in terms of the uptrend continuing further, all right, by holding above that 125 to maybe even 130 support level, right? So what about the upside? So let me just go to reiterate the targets. I would say potentially we might hit to like 140 first, all right, and maybe even to 150. So that would be, I would say, the upside targets for now, all right. For Franken, you can see that we are pretty much at a high, all right, compared to the past few years, so there isn't really much to see. But right now, potentially 140 would be an immediate psychological resistance, and of course that $1.50. Alright, so in terms of the mid to long-term trend, I think I mentioned it as well. Look at this. The red line 100 days moving average and the blue line, the 200 days moving average, are all pointing up quite gradually and slowly, right? So that's a good thing, right, in terms of the uptrend. So right now, short term, it's good to see it consolidate from like 125 to maybe 135, all right, up, down, probably a 10 cents range. Hopefully we can attempt to break that 140 soon. Okay, so this is Franken right over here. Yep, one of those technology counters that have came to our watch list over the past few weeks, and it's still looking good, as long as some of those key support levels that I talk about is holding well. Okay, so yes guys, there we have it. We have covered the 4 Singapore technology counters that have came into my watch list over the past few months, and one of them have just came into our watch list again. Alright, and these 4 counters are AEM, Franken, UMS, and Valuetronics. So I hope that you've taken note of some of the key levels, or maybe the potential upside targets that can happen again over the next couple of days, over the next 1 or 2 weeks as well. Alright, so I hope you like this video, alright, and I look forward to see you in the next video. If you have not hit the subscribe button, alright, be sure to smash it, right, so that you will be alerted to videos like this this. And of course, yeah, do give me a thumbs up as well. It definitely help out the YouTube channel, right? So thank you so much for watching. Joey here. Take care.